And welcome back, everybody. So, give me one moment. At a broad table, here in the gilded hall, deep within the chambers of the Aurora Palace, within the Temple District, Astani, you are seated on an exquisite velvet-lined cushion set of seats as a series of small ivory bags are placed in front of you. The chinking of coin echoing through the large chamber as several masked figures around you reach forward one by one before gently dragging the bags across the hardwood. The woman speaking to you pauses, her glamoured blue eyes behind a masquerade mask and veil carefully eyeing as each bag makes its way into the hands of the figures surrounding the table. She coughs gently. And of course, we have our monthly donations from the Crown and Country to go towards your temple's needs, carefully divided between the different temples to be used. Her voice pauses, hardening slightly before continuing. As discretionary funding to assist with the care and upkeep of our people, not our buildings or our pockets. Her eyes lingering on several masked individuals further down the table away from you, Astani. After a moment, she continues. Good. Now we have a few matters remaining on the table at present, and we will adjourn, I promise, in time for the Watchers of the Veil to begin their sunrise ceremonies. We are facing a number of problems with the ever-approaching winter. Food shortages, our trading has gone down over the last few weeks and continues to face problems both on land and sea. Several of your temple leaders and I will be meeting with the council to try and persuade them to set aside funds for relief for Jorix. Viscount Quay Dansley has kindly offered his platform and luring abilities to help us in this endeavor, with the knowledge that the Crown will either assist or possibly match the growing donation fund. We haven't disclosed what the amount of this fund is, or that the account even exists, as both Commander Tyneal and Lord Dansley both suggested it may be in our people's best interests to not play all of our cards. Lord Dansley, of course, apologizes for the delay, as the disappearance of his son has, well, put him off course, so to speak. And at this point around the chamber, you can hear there is some light discussion amongst the other masked figures. You yourself are also masked as well, Astani. Can you actually describe what your mask looks like, as it's only your eyes are seen? The rest of you is kind of hidden.
I think they have a opalescent shimmer and like design all throughout of it. So it looks very much like iridescent, like gemstones, and they a couple of like little areas where there's the in between the gemstone looking facets, there are like bioluminescent like color and beautiful like glowing painting or paintwork. Yeah,
I like it. Wonderful. You can hear around the chamber there is some murmurings from each of the other houses, as they are called in the Aurora Palace. Each under a different banner representing the different temples within the district. You notice that the chair immediately next to you, which is typically the other space for your other companion or partner from the Watcher, other companion from the Veil Temple is empty. And this is like, I would say probably the third or fourth meeting that it's empty. Most of the other seats under each of the different houses or banners are both occupied, minus you would notice this underneath the Aquina banner. they are also missing an individual. It's not uncommon sometimes for one or two of the kind of representatives for each of the temples to be missing. Sickness happens. You know, all of you are also taking on the responsibilities of also your temples as well. But these seats have been missing for the last few weeks. That hasn't changed. That's where it gets a little bit tricky. As the kind of meeting that you're in order to keep the peace, keep equalness between the temples, no one taking more power versus the other, the anonymity that affords this kind of meeting place through the mass and stuff like that is a way for all of you to have these discussions. Most of the time pretty peacefully. I think the only time it ever gets somewhat heated is just sometimes about how funding can be used, as kind of referenced by the main individual who's been kind of talking in this moment. If you would like to roll a perception check, you're more than welcome to.
The 6 + 8.
Okay. The 14?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With a 14, the actual room itself is set in almost this kind of pocket dimension within the Aurora Palace, which doesn't exactly exist within the temple district. It's one of those things that's pretty hidden. You need a password in order to get in. But you can see as the landscape around you is changing, as light is starting to approach on the horizon. There's a couple of murmurings from the different temples. With your perception, I would say to your right, from one of the temples, you can hear murmurings about talking about a fund and how much that might be in possession, how much they've been able to perhaps procure, although that individual seems reticent to actually speak that more loudly. They're kind of whispering it of like, how much do you think it could be? And, you know, do we think that this is going to be enough? Eyes at the top of the table are kind of serenely watching everything. Their presence always balanced. They're usually the ones to carry the vote if there's ever a tie. Kind of not aligned to one specific temple, but all of them. That is their job. She kind of looks around for a moment, kind of waiting to see if any questions are going to pop up. No questions at all? We'll move on otherwise.
If what can Ostani has questions, but they're not going to disturb this moment. So they're just like looking around to see if anybody else is like also at the edge of their seat, kind of. And like if they're close by, nudge them to be like to say something.
It's not hard with the perception check you rolled before. Yeah, there's I would say easily an individual about 2 seats down, wearing what appears to be just a cloth kind of mask, very simple, but that kind of goes with their overall clothing. They're from a temple that doesn't believe in really showing off a lot of luxury and living a life of simplicity. You can kind of see they're in contrast, seems that the curiosity is really eating away at them a bit. So how would you, because I think this is interesting, how would you perhaps prop this individual to speak up?
They're going to use adjust position.
Okay.
And mutter it under their breath
Okay.
to just move them, like, you know how like if people were like, who agrees, and then everybody steps away and like there's one person remainder, but
Mm-hmm.
instead adjust them to be like, and then raise their hand.
I love it. Okay. So what exactly would you say?
What exactly would I say?
Mm-hmm. To get this kind of murmuring. There's a lot that is kind of being talked about the fund, using the funds, where the funds are coming from. So there's a lot of different like areas that this kind of covers. So with this, where are you prodding? / what are you prodding?
I think it's just to doubt it and get more details, and see that everything is not quiet, you know, that the room is not just sitting here for a meeting, and that they're just for the spell, it's verbal, so they're just muttering it, but they are saying, question it.
And after a moment, you see the individual is just like, kind of just is like going back and forth before kind of very gingerly like raising their hand up in the air. And the mask at the head of the table kind of
Look, they have a question.
Raises an eyebrow. Yeah. just very unceremoniously. It's like, yeah. And the individual speaks up after a moment. So, and I understand, obviously, it's not the top priority for this meeting, but do we have like an idea of how much the discretionary funds might be, or where they might be coming from? Just so, you know, there's a lot of things moving in and out of the city. We want to make sure, obviously, that the funds are indeed secure and not.
What a wonderful question.
Not blood money in any way, shape, or form. And she, the mask at the head of the table, just kind of pauses. Well, if Commander Tyneal and Lord Dansley are involved in this, then I can assure you it's not blood money. It is from the both of them. They have offered up 350,000 gold to help with the assistance in the city, which we will believe will not cover everything, but it will offset in a lot of the costs. But it's a tricky hand to play. If we let the crown know that that much gold is up in the air, well, and you kind of see this like look across their face as they sigh. Some might seek to take those funds to perhaps raise taxation upon, those individuals as well, or see fit to take this as a loan for the crown to then divvy up those funds and under a banner of the crown will support everyone. So we have to play this hand very carefully. But Commander Tyneal and Lord Dansley have both asked that obviously their names attached. This amount of money does not leave this room. Not want for, they're well aware of their position and how much, their position affords with their ability to have these funds, right? But they don't want it necessarily to paint a target on their backs. They just want to make sure that our city and its people persevere. So the hope is, perfect world, the crown will match it. Or at least give a little bit. Otherwise, they're largely going to be fitting the bill. So... Once we have more information about that, that'll be happening in the next week or two. Once we try and get a meeting with the council, we will see about how those funds are. I know, at least for Tyneal, he is having those moved from Illipin, so it's going to take some time for it to not come all over all at once. Otherwise, that'll definitely raise suspicion. Right. Moving onwards. Commander Tyneal has also stated that with these growing disappearances, he and the Crown's Guard are beginning to entertain the idea of a sort of curfew. Now, and you see immediately there is murmuring at the table. This is not set in stone, and truthfully, it's something he wishes to avoid altogether, but wish for us to know first, so we may begin preparations on our end with additional housing and support for the people. This is mainly just to get people off the streets, since most of the disappearances are occurring at night, which doesn't help the economy, but again, our greatest concern is the people. So I don't want to raise alarm. We're hoping. Tyneal is confident with some individuals that are coming into the city in the next few weeks that we might have a better idea of what's going on. But there's a lot of movement. There are a lot of people within our city, and it is ever growing every single day. So we wanted to make sure that at least everyone is aware of this. So I will be here to offer up aid and assistance as well, and be able to work between each of the different temples on this support.
Again, Asani is just another nudge to someone to like perk up, ask questions, but they're kind of leaning forward, just really closely, like, ask about the night. What are they doing exactly? And who is it that is in charge of this? And why? And then just like pushing people to
stealth.
Yeah, the centaur has really great stealth. Oh, 16 plus 2, 18.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
It maybe just looks like you're leaning forward to adjust, as you have been sitting in this meeting now for a few hours. So you're kind of stretching, moving forward, messing with your posture a little bit. And some other individuals have definitely picked up on that as a speaker, the sole speaker from Aquina speaks up at this moment and goes, well, are they stating what they're doing in the evening then? Like, are they stationary, like additional guards around the different areas where those people have gone missing? Have any returned? Do we have a protocol in place of, working with individuals that have no place to go, or are steadfast of this is their city, they're going to live how they want to live as they have the right to? Again, the concern of the crown's meddling, even though in this situation, Tyneal is separate from the crown. Just what's going on kind of thing. And the masked kind of figure up at the head of the table pauses for a moment. Tyneal is doing everything he can along with the rest of his crown's guard. They've been working tirelessly. But unfortunately, there's just, the city is way too big, and there's not nearly enough Crown's Guard in order to ensure that every individual is safe. So top priority is to make sure Jorix is safe, its people is safe, as well as then obviously the Crown's Guard. He has been hesitant to report, but there's been a growing increase of Crown's Guard also leaving the order. So his resources are being stretched thin, and again, not wanting to get all of the crown and king and his delegations involved, believing that this may be cause for a massive problem again. The crown is aware. Tyneal's not going rogue and acting by himself in this instance, but it's, and you kind of see, like, I would say, based off of your passive perception, Astani, there is definitely a strong pang of like exhaustion that kind of just shows momentarily, which is pretty rare for this individual to kind of show. just the pang of exhaustion, and just when they're saying all of this, the implication of the mental and social Olympics that are kind of having to take place. It's a constant game of cat and mouse, because to offer, especially, you've seen glimpses of it in your passings through, but it is a viper's nest.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, there's not too many individuals that are like Tyneal or Dansley, who want to just help out of the kindness of their heart and aren't expecting anything in return.
Okay.
They're a rarity. So you can kind of see she's a little bit of strain, I would say, behind even her glamored mask, bright blue eyes, as she's been, even now, is still constantly trying to think of a solution to make everybody happy, but obviously to also stop the disappearances. Like I said, any information, we'll pass it on, or if you all have ideas as well, we're always happy to take that on. Additionally, as there hasn't been too much news, there hasn't been any news about what has befallen Lord Dansley's son or the others who have gone missing. So he did have, and he apologizes as he feels selfish for asking, but if anyone hears anything, to please pass it along, and to also reassure you of anonymity, as is this council room, as again, we all want to make sure that everyone is safe. Speaking of support and also news, and her eyes in this case, almost like an eclipse, turn in your direction, Astani. Watcher, you and your partner were beginning to look into the strangeties that were occurring in the graveyard district. However, before we get into your report proper, where is your partner? This is the 4th meeting that they've missed. I believe you had last mentioned that they had taken ill. Are they still ill?
No, they shouldn't be. I believe they will be up and ready as soon as. And they're like glancing to where the seat is empty, and just as soon as they can. And I will make sure of it. I have been debriefing them on our past meetings, and I will continue to do so until they are well fit to take up their post again. We do apologize.
It's no worries, and obviously, please do pass along our well wishes. But, and I am not unsympathetic. You kind of see she's kind of scratching at her forehead and just kind of seems to be trying to just alleviate some pressure. It may be time to look into perhaps another water representative from the Vale.
No. Of course, if that is what you wish.
Why don't you stay back for a few minutes after the meeting wraps? I was gonna say,
behind the mask, Osani is like that kid, like,
you kind of see
in front of everyone.
She pauses for a moment and goes, I was going to say it might be time to look for another representative to help support you, for not only for the Vale, but also a beacon representative for the Aquina, as her eyes kind of linger on that individual as well. These are large responsibilities on your shoulders, on top of the other duties we all must carry. So I'm not doubting your abilities, but if one falters, then the whole system crumbles. So, and you kind of see she's, I would say based off of your passive perception, she is both trying to keep order, but also is like, there has to be some movement and business going on. Do not take this burden on by yourself. It also makes sure that there is equal representation amongst each of the temples. But right now, if there was to be a vote, right, Aquina and Vale, if you were in the minority on voting something, could be seen as unfair because there's only one representative from each of your temples.
Of course. They nodded. Just give them a little bit more time. They were one of the ladies' few called to this work. So just of course, yes. And then just very struggling to
Can you roll
do as you wish.
Can you roll deception? And as you roll deception, can you please describe in the last conversation that you had with this individual what it is that you said that they revealed was a betrayal to them?
What it is that I said to my Osani's partner?
That they then revealed in that moment that they saw it as a massive betrayal.
There was doubt or something that was happening with the Veil, the lady, the temple district, and Bastani kind of used their allegiance to the lady as questioning what they were doing. And it was quick, a silence across their face of just oh, you're calling me out in that way. And Osani was I should not have said it like that. Or I should not have said it at all. I should have minded my words. It's one thing to question and then question someone's place in what they're doing, even if there's doubt. But in this friendship, that's all that Asani was seeing. That they were being betrayed too, because they believed in the lady as much as everyone else did.
And this was after a long night in the cemetery district, in the graveyard district more specifically. Heated tempers. There hadn't been any strange things that had really happened, minus the Aurora Borealis had been making its appearance, which this far south at this time of year, bit different, but not unheard of. Sometimes the celestial alignments take place where it would allow for that to happen. But tempers were high. I want to say it was probably your 4th or 5th night on top of also doing your morning sun sign welcomes. So tensions were high. Sleep was starting to lack a little bit when all this was said. And this was also the last time you saw this individual.
Ugh.
I think their name kind of lingers on your mind of Kara. I'm storming out the door. Freshly just got back before disappearing back out into kind of the morning mist and rain that had slowly been falling on Jorix as a whole. Words said, and they muttered something as they left that I think you didn't quite catch in the moment, and what it could possibly have meant still haunts you. That has been the harmony for a lot of your nightmares for the past few weeks, as those words. A crack of thunder sounds as now the three of you, Astani, Rory, and Deodora, exit the cemetery walls. Rain continuing to fall, gathering in small ponds connected by rivulets, marking the stone path ahead of you. Your steps echoing across the stone as the three of you head towards... Are you heading towards the Ascidian Gate, where Tyneal is at, or where are you headed?
I would say this would be a good time as characters to talk about it. So
Sure.
Let's do that. Well, I suppose it is upon us to sort out a plan of action of some kind. At some point, it might be best to get to Tyneal as soon as possible, but would you like to see about your friend first?
My friend?
Indigo.
My brother.
I suppose this hasn't occurred to me because I'm not aware of your family, of your lineage, but are you all related?
He's my brother. Like, we have the same parents, brother, if that's what you mean.
Yes it is. Well, in that case, I feel like that's probably a very decided thing then. Would you like to go and see about your brother?
I don't know where they are. We have to talk to Tyneal first.
Knowing your brother, do you think Tyneal is the first place they would go?
I more meant that Tyneal knows where the pack is.
Well then, to Tyneal's it is.
And I mean, I don't think Indigo would be there. He's smarter than that. He wouldn't bring danger to anybody. But at least we're out of the mausoleum now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not in the mausoleum.
As we're leaving the cemetery, graveyard district, whatever it's called, I don't remember the the place that I thought was gonna be cool, and then you fucked me, so you know.
Just in case we were wondering where we were.
Yeah, you know.
No lube. Anyway.
Lube.
I said no lube.
No.
Last time you said that there was like a trail of blood from Indigo leading up and out of the crypt. Do I still see any traces of blood?
No, it's largely been washed away from the rain the past couple days. It was just present in the crypt itself because that was a very dry area.
Okay.
But there's not even the scent of Indigo's blood anywhere either.
Okay. I don't think Indigo would have necessarily gone back to the tribe. I don't think he would want to, at least not until he knew it was safe. I don't think he would have gone to Tyneal either for the same reason. But at least if we speak to Tyneal, I can at least know where home base is. They're not in the same location that they usually would be here in this area.
Oh, that is right, actually. This would be the point at which you remind me of a very simple fact. And I hold up a bracelet.
Is that the bracelet Tyneal gave us?
The earring.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm gonna...
Oh my god, bro.
I'm cracking up at this because I brought this up last time and you are all like, no, we should go to him directly.
I know, and this is why in character I'm giving you credit for it. You told us this is how we should communicate about this. I want to put that out there. We give the black fans credit out here.
Thank you so much. Everybody else take notes on when giving credit where credit is due, bitches. Okay. And I think let's Maybe let us find a safe place to be before we contact him, just in case we're being watched.
Well, safe places to be aside. Hold on for a moment. I hold out a hand and I use, because I can use it now, I use Find Familiar to summon Corbin in the shape of a bird. I try to pick a bird that's natural to the area, that has a good sense of vision.
Sure. Would you go for a small bird or a big bird, I think is the better question. Like, are you looking for like a hawk, or are you looking like for like a sparrow or a blue jay?
I would be looking for something that is adjacent to a hawk because of their eyesight. But
Gotcha.
very
Like a falcon?
specifically,
Yeah, like a falcon.
what we're aiming for is a bird that people wouldn't see and immediately go, "What's that bird doing
That's
here?"
weird. That's weird.
That's
That's
suspicious.
That's
Yeah, that's
No,
suspicious.
we're not trying to do that, right? We're not trying to do that. So I want you to know that as I'm
Sure.
like summoning this bird.
Okay.
Goes, Corbin, if I can ask you a favor, would you mind looking around for us and seeing if there are any people or other suspicious beings in the area?
Mhm.
I'll pause after a moment. Hang on, I found actually a quick reference guide for you, Sin. I'll pop in the Discord too. I'm leaning towards either one of the kestrels, probably. Would probably work.
Oh, Kestrels
Okay.
are nasty too. I love
Yeah.
them.
Then we'll go with the peregrine falcon in that section.
I love it. Okay. Love it. So you see kind of
It
wobbling.
looks the most like it's wearing a suit.
It does. Yeah.
Oh my
Kind of
God,
goes
cute.
with the penguin aesthetic too that Corbin's been adopting this season. So after a moment, kind of catching himself off guard for a moment, and then noticing these big wings that Corbin is now wearing, kind of stretches them out. And goes, "Sorry, I missed that. What was the question?"
Would you mind looking around the area and seeing if there are any dangers about?
Sure. Do you have food?
For you, always.
Okay. And he takes flight after a minute. You just see easily circling through, I think through the familiar connection, you hear some mild kind of mutterings of, "Brings me out when it's raining, can't just send me flying on a nice sunny day, but that's okay. We'll talk about this later.
my
for my
God.
first flight and everything, it's
Oh
fine."
my God. Oh my God.
It's kind of
Oh my God.
a little bit of a crash out. It's going to take a few minutes for him to kind of do a perimeter check. So what is happening in the meantime?
I think I'll send Sparky to do the same on the ground. That way
Okay.
we kind of have two modes of coverage. I don't have like a familiar connection in the same way that Rory does, but
You have the shift weave
we could
connection.
still- yeah, we could. Yeah, I mean, I was saying, I can't really wizards can see through their familiar's eyes and stuff, and I
Sure.
don't have that. But we can at least communicate in some way. So I will send Sparky just to just prowl the shadows, I guess.
Sure. Both of you can go ahead and roll perception or investigation checks. Yes, with advantage before you ask. And Astani, what are you doing in this moment?
Let's see if they can give the they're probably helping Theodora because they're, I think after they were talking about the siblings and working together, they probably didn't return to the tribe, as you said, because it's not safe. But what is safe for your brother? You don't have to have an answer now, but if there is something that you know, maybe that is where they wanted to go to for a bit, for a moment, with someone, a place, a fountain, I don't know, just something that you might know. And with that, they're kind of would like to give a help action if anybody needs it.
Sure.
Sparky got a 20. Was I rolling for Sparky or for myself?
For Sparky.
I mean, you know, it's the same thing either way, so it doesn't even, now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't even matter. It's a dirty 20.
Okay.
We literally have the same plus to perception.
Love it. Okay. And Sin, what did you roll?
For 26.
26. Okay. And Astani, you mentioned you wanted to give the help action. Is that you basically, are you like rooting them on? Are you like, what does that look like as you are kind of assisting with this as Corbin is taking off into the air, and then you have Sparky ready to prowl the streets for a couple of minutes?
I think with the added training, they're helping with using the tools that that Sakali is now started on. So they're just like kind of like how you have like a well-trained puppy who's like with one who's like, what? Okay, we're actually gonna do it, kind of thing. So they're facilitating that with their perception checks.
I love it.
It's like good, well-trained dog, and then there's the second child.
Yeah.
The second child.
The second child. I kind of, for a bit of flavor, I think it'd be fun to kind of flavor it if Corbin is soaring through the skies. Then you have Sparky, who's kind of, there are balconies everywhere, kind of just popping up onto a balcony, like real quick, just to blink over there, kind of looking around from a higher vantage point. And then you have just Sakali, just cute, just walking the street. That way you have,
my paws are getting muddy.
yeah, it's literally, there's mud everywhere, just like as they're walking. But that way all three kind of levels are being kind of low. So if you would like to roll a perception check with advantage for Sakali, I think that makes the most sense.
You gotta get Sakali little booties.
I know, little brain.
Oh, it's a nat 20.
Oh, let's go! Oh, your first time.
With perception, right?
Sakali's first run.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do I add anything for Sakali?
Their perception.
Yeah. Their perception.
If you have a sheet for them.
Yeah. I'll be right back. Let me open my Notion up real quick.
I'll be right
You
back.
don't need to update right now, Notion.
And then she locks the fuck in.
No, I love that. I want to think that Sakali is like, oh, okay, I'm on the stage and Sparky's watching. I have to impress from like the morning. Here we go. It just goes for it. Okay, wonderful. Between the three of you, even with a natural 20, incredible job. You do get a ping, all three of you, that in the southwest corner of set of streets in the graveyard district itself, there seems to be a note that there is an individual or individuals, plural, that have taken note that you all are leaving the graveyard district, specifically the cemetery, and that they appear to be watching you in this moment. They aren't approaching. It's more of like not liking the vibe, I would say, but not getting an overall like impending doom from watching these individuals.